Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to continue our preview of the Patriot League Championships. Men's and women's swimming and diving teams will be hosting here on the campus of the United States Naval Academy with Navy's Julie Jesse. And how nice is it to have this on your own board, in your own pool, coming up this week for the Patriot League Championships?
It's so nice to be at home this week, just to sleep in my own rack in the hall and to know the boards and know my spots on the boards while I'm diving. I'm so glad it's home for my senior season here.
First question I got to ask you is why diving?
I started diving when I was in high school. My high school team had no divers, and I was lucky enough to be the girl they needed. And I was a gymnast growing up, so I kind of knew what to do. I can do some flips and stuff, so I fell in love with it when I was a freshman in high school.
You remember the first time you went up on a board and looked down and thought, did you think, hey, is this really what I want to be doing? Or was it a comfort zone that you found pretty much right away?
I was definitely pretty comfortable right away. I had a lot of trouble with reverses, like where you go off and do a backflip. I had a lot of back smacks for that. Still not super comfortable, but definitely can do them. So I was really comfortable.
Throughout your career here, you have progressed to where obviously you took home some hardware last year here on top of the podium in the 1 meter. Do you feel as a competitor, do you push yourself now to, hey, I've been able to accomplish that. I have to do that again here coming up in this meet, and then obviously try to better the 3 meter finish as well?
I try really hard not to put too much pressure on myself. My dad tells me before every meet, as long as I hit the water, it's a good dive. So my goal for this meet is definitely to final on both boards. That's my number one goal. And if I can make it to the top of the podium on one or both boards, that would just be the icing on the cake.
When did you feel that, hey, I'm getting pretty good at this and I might be able to use this as a vehicle to get a great education here?
I knew that I was going to be pretty good, probably sophomore year in high school. Once I got the hang of it, I knew what it was all about. And I've always wanted to come to the Naval Academy, so I'm just thankful that I can also dive and follow that passion as well.
Now, people may not realize, you're not one of those kids who comes from like California or Florida, or hotbeds of swimming and diving. How did you do this coming out of the Midwest? Because I'm sure it's one of the few places people think of first when it comes to swimming and diving success. They probably think, of course, the warmer locales of California and Florida first.
I don't know. Like, definitely just being a winter sport, we only practice indoors, clearly. And, we have that here at Navy, too. We're only indoors. And I definitely felt that I had proper training in the Midwest. And my coaches were great, and they definitely knew the ropes pretty well. So I felt, like, definitely prepared coming out from Indiana.
Did you have any kind of heroes or anything from a diving perspective, people that you admired, either watching diving on TV or even locally that you admired to kind of inspire you a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Coming from Indiana, David Bodaya from Purdue was definitely an idol. He was just rising to fame, when I started diving, and just watching him on the boards down at Purdue was like such an inspiration for us all throughout Indiana, really.
As a when you go up onto that board, it's just you. It's the pool. Do you have any kind of a pre-dive routine that you go through, or each dive do you just kind of take the deep breath and say, hey, here we go, let's go do it?
For pre-dive, I definitely like to be on the pool deck, so I don't put in like headphones or anything. I want to be aware of what's going on, and just before each dive, I take a deep breath and try to relax, be as relaxed as possible, and just know, like, my body knows how to do the dive, and I'm going to be successful, and that I'm going to nail it.
Through the years, how have you come up with, maybe different dives to challenge yourself, but at the same time, obviously trying to achieve the type of score that's going to win a meet, because you've won 8 times so far this year?
I have been throwing the same list pretty consistently now, so I am definitely comfortable with those dives. I have some better categories that I try to challenge myself in, like twisters or backs. I feel like very confident in those areas, so I feel that I could, step outside my comfort zone a little more easily in those categories.
Is that hard to do as a competitor? I mean, because I think a lot of us sit here and talk, oh yeah, I got to do that. But is that easier said than done, stepping out of that comfort zone and trying to do something with a little bit more degree of difficulty?
For sure, because I know that I can throw, a lower degree of difficulty for a higher score, so that makes me a little hesitant to go outside that comfort zone and try something new that maybe won't hit as high. So I definitely tend to stay more inside my comfort zone and throw those dives I know I can nail. But stepping outside is definitely a big step.
Now, every time we watch diving on television, especially when you're watching the Olympics or United States Championships or World Championships or something like that, they tell us a great dive is one that has no splash at the end. True or false?
True.
Why is that?
True. You definitely don't want to splash because you want to make sure you have good hands on the bottom. Mostly you want to go in head first into the water, no feet first entries. So just making sure you know how to grab your hands and getting that clean rip through the water, that's always a good
So
dive.
essentially the entry into the water is almost as important as anything you do in the air between the board and getting to the water.
For sure.
No doubt about that. Now, you were a good volleyball player.
Yeah.
Did volleyball ever have a chance to outweigh diving at the collegiate level, or were you pretty much committed to jumping in the pool all the time?
I was pretty much committed to jumping in the pool. Being 5'4", I'm not quite sure how great of a collegiate volleyball player I would have been. But I did love volleyball, and I was pretty good. But diving definitely had my heart.
All right. Appreciate the time. Best of luck to you and all of your teammates this week at the Patriot League Championships.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's Julie Jesse joining us here. Mids, again, hosting Patriot League Swimming and Diving Championships, both the men and the women. For the schedule, go to NavySports.com. And for all the information you need on all 33 varsity sports, as we said, this is a big, big week here on the Yard of the Academy. Go to www.NavySports.com.